With the recording process, what we did is I went into the studio with Mitch, bass player, and the drummer Adrian Violi, and said these are the songs. So I'd play one song, and they had tapes that I'd done at home, which were pretty rough, but they had the tapes, and we'd play the song and get the feel right, and then we'd put it down, and we'd go through all the songs like that. And the first four we did like that, and then Shannon came in afterwards, and we wanted him to play over it. And I said, oh, Shannon, can you play what I'm playing, play the same thing? So he played it, and I said to Mitch, who was engineering, I said, Mitch, can you turn my guitar off for a sec? So he turned it off, and they played it again. I said, Mitch, can you delete my guitar? So, because Shannon just made it talk more. I played it correctly, but Shannon just had this, he played similar things to what I was playing, but not similar. It was like, wow, you know, so I just sort of I bowed to a great talent and just said, Shannon, you played the rhythm, I'm not going to play anymore. Chris Wilson we used on the album because he's such a great blues writer and a great blues harmonica player. I just really love his playing. He's a very exceptional man. And I had to have him on. I wanted Chris on there because I admire him so much. With songwriting for the album, I worked with a number of collaborators, and one of them was a dear friend called Gary Page, who's written songs like Heading in the Right Direction, Words Are Not Enough. And I went down to Tassie. I remember before I went, a really good friend of mine, a great guitar player called Co Tipping, was saying to me, you should do a blues album. You've got to get a blues album. You've got to do, yeah, I will. Went down, Gary, we're having dinner, and he said, why don't you do a blues album? I said, gee, you're the second person. So I said, all right, let's do one. We'll start writing, and he sent me some lyrics. I started writing, and I thought, it's not quite right. And that was when I saw the photo of Thomas Archer, and I thought, I'm going to do Sharkmouth. So I started on that, and then I rang Gary, and I said, write this, because I had a little bit of it, and I said, I want you to write some of these words. And that was how we found our direction. I also wrote with Jim Keys, who's a really great mate of mine. I wrote Black Dog Blues with him. Some I wrote by myself. I wrote with Alan Howe, who was a journalist and who always wanted to be a songwriter, and sort of gave him the directions how to sort of try and write songs. And I wrote two with Mitch Cairns, who's the bass player and the producer of the album. So it was a bit of a collaboration of sorts from all areas, and I really I enjoyed doing that. It was good. The Bridge was a song that I wrote with a friend of mine who was a journalist. He's always wanted to have a song written on anybody's album. So I said to him, write me some words. So he wrote me these whole bunch of words, and it was like reading a piece in the paper. So I said to him, all right, this is what we do, Alan. So I tore sections out of it and put other sections in to make it a bit more poetic. And it was about a story that he read in a book called Wild Men of Sydney, about a guy, Squeezer and his squaw, who were sort of, they ran the city at that stage. And the bridge was being built, so we thought we'd tie the bridge in with those two, and I fictitiously put myself in the part as being their muscle man, because it was a fantasy thing of being a tough guy. You know, I was their guy and their enforcer. It's seen from his eyes, looking at them, looking at the bridge being built, and looking at him having to go on the ferry every night and resenting the fact that he has to pay the ferryman money to go across the harbour every night and then back again. His heart is over on the North Shore because his woman's over there and he wants to go over there. So it's all from his point of view. Found a stone of hope on a mountain of despair. There's work on Blues Point Jetty and I pay my way. Money don't grow on trees had to get on the album because my grandmother, that was something she said. Always. Russell, you can't have it. Money don't grow on trees. And it was something that she said to me since I was a little kid till I was probably 25. And so it sort of happened like that. And so I made that like a sort of a general song about being broke and really wanting money. You've got holes in your shoes, you've got a girlfriend, you can't buy the dress that she wants, and you've decided that you can't get a job, so you're going to go down to Melbourne, enlist in the army, and maybe go over to Gallipoli, and thinking that it'll be a wonderful adventure, which unfortunately so many young men went on and found out that it wasn't a wonderful adventure after all. Two really good friends, Jerson, a beautiful singer, and Troy Cassadaly, not so good. No, Troy's a great mate, and it was just fabulous that he decided to play on the album, and he plays a rocking solo. He's such a good guitar player and such a beautiful singer, and I'm very grateful for him doing that.